Parents who've lost a 14-year-old to senseless acts of violence. But human life is priceless. But on May 28, 2023, Chow.Clip Chow, the defendant in this case, determined that Cyrus Carmack Belton's life was worth less than 4 bottles of water. I say this because in May of 2023, Chow.Clip Chow, the defendant in this case, was the owner of a convenience store and gas station on the corner of Park Lane and Springtree here in Columbia. His wife was working that evening. She was a co-owner, and their adult son was working there as well that particular evening. It was around 8 o'clock or so p.m. that Cyrus Carmack Belton, a 14-year-old, walked into that store. And he had on a red hoodie with a small pocket in the front. He was carrying a black backpack. We know this to be true because the defendant in this case, Chow.Clip Chow, had an intricate camera system that captured almost every interaction within that store and multiple camera angles. He also had camera angles outside of the store on the premises of the store and immediately adjacent to the store so you could see what happened at the beginning of Springtree as his property ended. So Cyrus walked into that store, red hoodie, small pocket in the front, black backpack, and he walks in and he immediately is asked by the co-owner, Alice Chow, to remove his backpack. That's store policy. Cyrus complies, does exactly what he's asked to do. He puts that backpack on the cooler and begins to walk around and browse throughout the store. He goes aisle to aisle, browsing, looking around, looking at the candy, looking at the waters, looking at other things in the store. And Alice is directly behind him watching everything that he does. When he walks to the front of the store, she watches. When he walks to the side of the store, she watches. She leans against posts and watches everything that he's doing as he walks through that store. Their adult son Andy is working the counter, and he's watching as well. And as other customers come in to buy things, he'll service them and continue to watch Cyrus as he walks through the store. Finally, Cyrus walks to that back right corner of the store. And again, we know this to be true because of that intricate camera system that Mr. Chow installed. He walks to the back. He opens a water cooler, leans the water cooler against his left shoulder, and takes out 4 bottles of water. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And after a second, he pauses and methodically puts all 4 water bottles back into that cooler. 1, 2, 3, and 4. He closes the cooler and begins to walk back towards the front of the store. And it's at that point that the verbal confrontation begins. And I say confrontation because Cyrus said nothing. The co-owner of the store, Alice Chow, asked if he needed help and eventually accused him of stealing water, told him to empty his pockets. The adult son Andy, who was watching, said the same thing. You took some water. Give us back the water. Cyrus said, I took nothing. I didn't take anything. I didn't take anything. And they continued to verbally attack him, accusing him of stealing water. Interestingly enough, if you look at that intricate camera system, Cyrus is telling the truth. He took nothing from that store that day. As he tried to walk out of the store, they continued to verbally harass him to the point where he took his backpack and calmly walked out of the store. Again, we know that to be true because of that intricate camera system that Chow.Clip Chow installed. And as he walks toward that door, the co-owner, Alice Chow, says something in Cantonese that makes her son run around the counter towards Cyrus. And then Chow.Clip Chow, the defendant in this case, comes from out of an office in the convenience store, armed with a .45 caliber Glock pistol, and follows Cyrus out of that store. Cyrus walks out of the store, takes a right, slowly, and hears them yelling, running after him.